The die is cast. The trap is set. And for 1 week only, I'm after the total destruction of Yukimoto. Every roll counts.
Game on!
Go, dice roll! Don't miss a single day of Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters. Next on Kids WB.
If you were a kid in the early 2000s, you probably watched Yu-Gi-Oh! On TV, saw Duke Devlin roll those fancy holographic dice and thought, wow, that's the coolest thing ever. I need this in my life. Then Konami dropped Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters for the Game Boy Advance, and every kid at Toys R Us begged their parents for it. And then reality set in. This isn't the shiny holographic future of dueling. This was dice rolling purgatory packed neatly into a tiny purple cartridge. Let's start with the visuals. Now this was a GBA game, so expectations were sky high, but still the cover art had you thinking about to witness monsters bursting out of the dice with anime level flair. Instead, you summon what looked like low resolution Lego minifigures with stiff animations that move slower than dial-up internet. You roll a dark magician and expect fireworks, but the screen just gives you a purple blob doing the world's saddest idle bounce. Every attack was essentially sparkle effect plus wiggle. Like the game ran out of budget after coding dice physics. But honestly, you can forgive the graphics if the game played well. Spoiler, it did not. The physical Dungeon Dice board game was already complicated, half Tetris, half Monopoly, all migraine. But the GBA version took that confusion and doubled it down. The rules make zero sense. Sometimes you'll roll a perfect summon setup, line your monster up, and the game would just deny you no explanation. It was like being in a toxic relationship. Every time you thought you did something right, the game whispered, actually you're wrong. And the pacing, dear God, the pacing. Each turn took forever. Rolling dice wasn't quick, it was a cutscene. Movement wasn't smooth, it was watching your monster drag itself across the board, square by square, like it was late for work on a Monday morning. Fights weren't epic clashes of beasts. There were two tiny blobs bumping into each other until one fell over. I swear you could start a duel, go make a sandwich, eat it, wash dishes, and come back before your monster finished its attack animation. The story mode was somehow even more disappointing. You think you'll get to face Yu-Gi-Oh! Iconic lineup, Kaiba snaring, Joey cracking jokes, Pegasus sipping wine, and dropping tune monsters. Nope, you're fighting Duke Devlin again and again and again. It's like the developers ran out of ideas and just said, what if every boss was Duke in a different world? At that point, it wasn't a story mode, it was a Duke Devlin fan club simulation. And then we get to the true final boss of the game, RNG. This dice system was straight up evil. You need specific quests to summon or attack, but the game seemed programmed to give you everything except what you wanted. You'll roll for a summon crest and get movement. You'll roll for an attack and get defense. It was like the game was mocking you personally, cracking every time you failed. Meanwhile, the AI rolled like it was Kaiba himself, getting perfect summons by 2 turn while you still stuck with a goblin crawling across half the board. Beating the computer felt less strategy and more like winning the lottery. So what we actually got with Yu-Gi-Oh! Dice Dungeon Monsters wasn't a revolutionary dueling system. It was slow, confusing, luck-driven tests and punished you for having fun. The anime promised holograms and adrenaline, but the GBA gave us math homework as disguised as a game. And yet we played it because kids with anything with Yu-Gi-Oh! Stamped on it. We convinced ourselves it was fun, squinting at our Game Boy screens and pretending to understand what was happening. We bragged to our friends about our strategies, when we really were just praying the dice didn't betray us. Deep down, we knew the truth. Dungeon Dice Monsters wasn't fun, it was Stockholm Syndrome with dice. Final Judgment roasted GameSpot. The good, it had Yu-Gi-Oh! In the title, so you felt cool owning it. The dice looked kinda nice in sprite form. And then it trickled your brain into something, thinking you were playing something strategic. The bad graphics looked like metaled Lego figures. The rules were written in hieroglyphics nobody could read. The pacing was slower than waiting in line at the DMV. Story mode was 90% Devlin Duke, 10% Existential Dread. And then RNG so bad it felt like the dice personally hate you. Final score, 3 out of 10. Or we could say 7 out of 10. I give it 7 out of 10. Because you played once for nostalgia, then put it back in the drawer where it belongs.